Hey everybody, welcome to the Inimitable podcast. I am your host, Jermaine Harrison. I am a licensed mental health counselor, mentor, visionary, transitional life coach, but more importantly, I am a neurospicy black sheep. Inimitable means something that is so unique it is impossible to duplicate. This pod is for the neurospicy who are building mental wealth without a blueprint. Every guest here, we are going to talk about some of those topics that other people don't want to talk about, but we're going to talk about it, whether it be about motherhood, Black men, whether it be about joining the force and being a mental health advocate. Either way, we're going to talk about it. So, with that being said, thank you for coming. And if you're here, it's because God needed you here. I hope you enjoy this episode, and I will see you soon. Bye. Oh, hey guys, how are you? I didn't even realize it was live because I was looking at the wrong screen. How are y'all doing? I hope everyone is doing well. It's Thursday, y'all. You know, Therapy Thursdays. We're here. This is a therapeutic conversation we're about to have. Okay, it's called "Time to Push." And I'm gonna be tying in like the literal like birthing process into what we're talking about. So what I always do is I give people, like 5 minutes to come on in. Um, it's 7:05 usually, but I started a little late. Anyway, so that means if you're watching this right now, get comfy. You know what I'm saying? Get some water, get some coffee, get whatever it is that you need, so that the conversation is going to get a little heavy, but it's going to be good. Okay. Invite your friends if you're on Instagram. Share this with everybody. Lottie Dottie and everybody. If you're watching this on YouTube, hey friends, hey family. How you living? How you doing? How you be? Again, today we're talking about it's time to push. A lot of us have things that we are birthing into this world, whether it's a vision, a purpose, a project, whatever it is, a call, a vision, whatever it is. And, we're going to be great and we're going to do just that. Okay. So, excuse me. Y'all know I never have a voice. I need to get that checked out because I literally never have a voice. I feel like I'm always losing my voice, to be honest. But yet here we are. So if you're here, be in the comment section. Excuse me. If you're here, be in the comment section. I love reading comments. I love responding to comments. That's why I do these live and they're not pre-recorded, because I love the interaction part of this. It's really a joy to be able to do what I do. I'm going to, again, give it, I can see the time. So we're going to give it another, excuse me, another minute or so before we are officially live and the conversation's going to start. But here we are. Cargon. If I was fancy, I'd have some, stuff playing in the background, but I'm not that fancy and high tech, But yeah, how's everyone doing? How are you? Whether you're watching this live or the rebroadcast, I hope everyone's doing good. I hope everyone's feeling good. I hope we're all here and we're happy and we're feeling beautiful because you guys are beautiful. This is horrible. I never have a voice. And that's like the worst thing to have. As a communicator, I never have a voice, and that is bogus. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. Anywho, all right. So here we go. We are starting the conversation. It's 5 minutes in. I gave people time to come in, and I'm sure they'll be coming in as they choose to. Anyway, so today, again, I'll be talking about it's time to push. So literally what I've done, because I'm a teacher first, preacher as second, but at the end of the day, I just really like to make sure that like I am when I'm teaching something that people feel like it is applicable to where they are. You know what I'm saying? Like I love um being able to break down a difficult concept or conversation and making it so that you're like, oh, okay, I can see that, or I understand that, or all right, all right. You know what I mean? Like, I love to be able to do that. So, we're literally taking the pushing part, the birthing part, the literal part of birth. Okay. I'm going to give some facts about that. And then as I'm giving the facts about pushing, we're also going to talk about like the figurative push that happens as you are a person, um, who is feeling like you're being called, you're being pushed to do something, and you've kind of been growing it. The idea has been in there. You've been sitting on it or with it for a very long time. But now is time for you to like birth that thing into the world. So point number one I wanted to talk about is the active labor, right? This is when as a female, I've never been a mom yet. I have not carried a child yet. But research and conversations helps you do things. So in this moment of active labor, excuse me, um, the mother is feeling contractions, right? Those painful things that are like period cramps, but on steroids. You know what I mean? And in my research, right, I found out that active labor can last anywhere from hours to like a day or two, meaning the mother is feeling these contractions, these like discomforting, painful situations. And what's happening as a contraction is happening is that the cervix is opening, right? And so that's point number one, right? Sometimes, as painful as it is, our pain makes room for something. You know what I mean? And as I mentioned last week, and I'm going to keep mentioning, this stuff is real for me because the current climate of my life, the current situations that I'm in, it's been a very painful process of me literally birthing something, you know, into this world, right? So with that being said, there's a lot of um contractions that I have felt. And what I'm realizing is how to view pain differently. What I'm learning is that the pain isn't just like I'm being punished or, like, haha, you deserve it. Sometimes the pain is making room for another thing to open. Um, and during the contraction process, right, the cervix, the walls of the cervix and stuff, it is thinning, right? This is called effacement, I believe is how you say it. So it literally softens the cervix so that the baby can move. That's another thing about pain, right? Sometimes we have to go through some uncomfortable situations to make room. That means we lose some things. We lose some people. We lose jobs. We lose identities that are no longer serving us, friendships that no longer serve us, relationships that no longer serve us, because they don't call it growing pains for nothing. Mm-hmm. This one we're calling labor pains, which means there's work that has to be done, right? There's work that is being done. And at the same time, it hurts, right? Like labor ain't easy. You know what I'm saying? Like whether you're having a C-section or a literal vaginal birth, it hurts. So what we're going to do is talk about like the process of allowing yourself to feel the pain, go through the pain, but also recognizing that this pain right here It is going to produce something and make room for something bigger. You know what I'm saying? So active labor, there's contractions, right? That can last anywhere from hours to days. And as a mother starts to feel these contractions, she's uncomfortable. So she's shifting her position like, oh, can't sit this way because nope, that hurts. Sometimes we're not sitting at all. Sometimes we got to move. Sometimes they're pacing. If the husband or the father's there, he's rubbing, the back and the shoulders and whatever the mother needs to be comfortable, right? Which brings up my next point. If you are about to birth something into this world, you cannot maintain the same position. Okay? You are forever moving, things are forever changing, and you have to be okay with being uncomfortable. You know what I'm saying? Like, no one promised that this thing was going to be easy. No one said that birthing a child or bringing something forth means, oh, we can do it the easy way and it's not going to hurt and nothing's going to happen. That's not true, And so when we think about the figurative, I'm about to birth something into this world, you cannot stay on the same level and you cannot stay stagnant and stuck. You know what I'm saying? Like, it requires movement. It requires you to sometimes have to move around. You know what I mean? I think sometimes we sit on things because we're like, well, I don't want to move too far out. I don't want to move ahead of the time. And I think sometimes the enemy will take that thought process of ours and kind of be like, no, yeah, stay still. No, yeah, don't move. No, yeah, you right. You absolutely, you never want to go ahead of God. But what that does, and again, I'm speaking from experience, what that does is it creates this stagnation within you to a point where it's time to push, but you're like, I'm just going to stay a little bit a little bit longer. I'm going to see if maybe I'm going to get more clarification or God's going to confirm it for the 17th time. You know what I mean? Like, we're just going to keep sitting on this thing. And that's a part of this birthing process that we definitely have to break free from. Yes, there is a time when, because if you think about the story of David, although David was anointed king, he didn't immediately step into the position because he honored Saul, who was in there before him, right? And so sometimes in our own walks and our own ways of living, we find ourselves in a position where we know God has called us. We know God has said, this is yours. The same thing with the Israelites. You will occupy this land. This is the promised land. This is for you. But then there's other people occupying that same space. And then you're like, so if it's mine, how come other people are there? If it's supposed to be mine and you promised me this thing, you mean I gotta fight for it as well? Yes, people. Just because things are promised and given to us does not mean we won't have to fight in some sense. It doesn't mean that it's going to come easy. It doesn't. Birthing, again, we're talking about birth, y'all. Ain't nothing easy about the birthing process. Again, even if you have a C-section, there's still pain attached to that. You know what I'm saying? Things are moving, things are shifting. This baby is has spent the past few weeks turning its body to be like, okay, I'm ready. In most situations, sometimes the baby has yet to turn, and then the doctor got to shove their hand and arm in there and be like, whoop, let's turn this baby around. Which again is another point. Things have to turn around, okay, before the push. Y'all, I'm gonna get real preachy. This is a real preachy type conversation, okay? Because listen, I feel this so heavy. And again, I wasn't even going to do this live today. I was going to wait till next week, but the moment that thought came in, quickly exited because God's like, no, this is the time right here, right now. And so like things have to turn before we push. Again, the positions that we are in, the positions that this idea, vision, dream, project, whatever it is, it has to start to shift. And it has to shift because as we're going to push, it got to come out the right way. You know what I'm saying? Which leads us to the part of like when you the mother starts to feel like it's time to push, right? So the studies say it's almost like the baby is like pushing its way down. So you feel the pressure, right? It's like, oh, okay, yeah, no, this isn't just pain I'm feeling in my stomach area. Like this child is moving. The cervix is open. The centimeters are there. This baby is pushing, right? And one thing that I read is that you don't want to push too soon, because pushing too soon can cause physical fatigue on you, and it can cause your cervix to swell, which means the baby obviously ain't just going to slide out the way that he or she's supposed to, because it's swollen, right? And my God, did that speak to me? Okay, because I have found myself in plenty of moments where I'm just like, come on, I got to get out of this thing. Like, I'm done. Like this has been too much. These past 11 months have not been fun. And I'm just like, Lord, are we done yet? Did I learn the thing? Have I understood the thing? Is it time? Like, please tell me it's time, because I'm done. Like, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to do this thing. And, pain makes me uncomfortable. And I had to realize, just because I'm uncomfortable and just because I feel like it's been almost a year in a month since all this stuff started to happen. It happened literally after my birthday, like August. I came back on the 6th. I was fine for about a week or two. Then everything just started to, you know. Um, and so just because I thought it was time, and I'm like, God, I respect your timing. I understand your time, but you taking a very long time to do this. And I've learned it's not that God can't do it sooner. God is so intentional, and he's so masterful and sovereign that, like, he won't let you come out of something too soon, because it's a detriment to us, to our growth, to how we do things. It's a detriment to us. Can God literally like snap his fingers, if he had them, snap his fingers and end everything? Absolutely. But then what did we learn? Nothing. We just learned, like, okay, God's powerful, but we knew that. God provided, but we knew that. Now, what happens when that next level that God is trying to take you to, that next thing that God is doing in your life, requires you to have a moment of awareness that you, that chick, or you, that dude, like, you really are, humbly, of course, and the new levels that we're being brought to require different versions of us. We cannot be the same on this level as we are up here. That doesn't work, So it's really like, okay, I'm going through this and this hurts. This is very uncomfortable, but the thing that is coming, I have to be prepared for it. Mothers have 9 months to prepare for this baby, or up to 9 months. Some do have preemies. But there is a time where they are preparing. I don't think there's a mother that exists out there that knows they're pregnant and isn't preparing a nursery and getting the clothes and having a baby shower and getting the diapers and doing all the things, right? Because they know, I'm about to bring something into this world, and I got to be prepared. I'm reading the books, the magazines, I'm having conversations, I'm researching, I'm doing all the things, because I know that I'm about to bring something into this world. And we are no different. When we know that there's something that I'm supposed to be doing, there's something that I'm going to bring forth into this world. It can be a book, it can be a class, it can be a person, you know what I'm saying? Like, you might literally be birthing something into this world. It can be a project, it can be a nonprofit, it can be, I don't know, something at your school, whatever it is, it's something big, and it's definitely bigger than the pain we feel, the pain we experience, the stuff we're going through, So, yeah, don't push too soon. Don't wait to come out too soon, because we don't want to come out prematurely and things get messed up. I'm going to take a sip of water because, as y'all know, I be losing my voice just by talking. It's crazy. Anyway, another thing I read, which was very interesting, I think it's more for mothers who are about to have a C-section, but I think it's just when you're in the active labor process, either way, you're not supposed to have any heavy foods, right? Because the heavy foods might interfere with what's going on down there. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't want to eat something heavy and then it leads to complications just because you are hungry, right? So usually that's why, and I don't know if anyone has been in a room or been with someone who's about to give birth, but popsicles, water, ice chips, because it's liquids, right? Liquids are going to come out anyway. You know what I'm saying? And there have been some mothers I've heard that, like, might have pooped themselves while pushing. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to eat something heavy and then all of that is mixed in with your baby and all the other fluids that are there, And so from that, I took away this point, right? Sometimes what fed us in one season because we need it, right, doesn't mean it's going to fit here. Sometimes, I've realized in all of the conversations that I've had with a lot of people during these months, not just in my counseling business, but like just in general, right? Is that we start with this abundance and we have so much stuff. We have some good stuff, heavy stuff, right? And sometimes we get stripped of that and God's like, yeah, no, you'll have that again. Just like right here, I need to strip you down to like the beginning, right? And for the life of me, I'm like, okay, but why? I hate that. How do you go from having so much and being living in the abundance that he promised, you know what I'm saying? And like having the things, doing all the things, being all the things, right? And then he's like, yeah. So for just a moment, I need to remove some of that stuff. And is it to grow your faith? Absolutely. Is it to make sure that you recognize that God is the source? He's not just a resource. He is the giver, the creator of all of these things, that the good things that we have to do and have done in our life. Is all that true? Absolutely. But I think it's more than that. I don't think it's just about us learning who God is. It's learning, but that's important. Not as important. We can't go through life and suffering and not learn something new about God because he's that good. But I think it's also like you're learning about yourself. I tell y'all, I have never felt the most weakest and strong at the same time. I feel very weak sometimes, but I'm also like the most confident I've ever been, the most sure I've ever been. Because I struggled with all of those. Insecurities for me were very loud and very abundant. You hear me? Imposter syndrome is and was. No, it was a thing. I'm not going to say is. It was a thing. I doubted everything. No matter how successful I was, no matter how many times people like, oh my God, Jermaine, like something you just said, like, oof, it hit me. I'm still like, I ain't nobody. And I definitely ain't nobody that's going to make a huge difference. Like, I'm just this little scared, shy little black girl. Ain't nobody going to listen to me. Ain't nobody going to follow me. They're not going to listen to me. Like, I am nothing. And I had to realize that's not true. I am humbly a lot bigger and better than I saw myself. And so when we're going through these things, you have to recognize you're better. As a mother is creating, she's not just a mother the moment the baby comes out. She's a mother at the moment of conception. You know what I'm saying? So her identity starts to shift. She's no longer just a daughter and a worker and a wife or a girlfriend. She's now a mother, right? And as a mother, your identity starts to shift. You start to do life very differently because you realize like up to this point, only person I had to worry about was myself. And family, yes, but I really only had to depend on self. There's a whole other human that is going to depend on me for everything. You know what I'm saying? Especially at the beginning stages, to eat, to be clean, to sometimes breathe. I need my mother. You know what I mean? And that's scary to realize. Like I have to be a steward over something that didn't exist before. You know, and in this birthing period, our figurative birthing period, you realize, like the Bible says, to that when you're faithful over a few, he'll give you many, which means I was faithful with the little things that I got, and God trusted me and said, all right, let's give you more so you can steward more because you were faithful with the little thing that you had. You know, I equated it to like before I moved into my condo, right? I lived with my mom and I was in a little room. And so I'm like, if I can't maintain this little room that I got, what do I look like trying to be like, no, yeah, I can maintain a house. I can keep a house together. When there's like, I have, to the glory of God, this isn't a brag. I have a first floor, a second floor, and then a finished attic, right? Which is where my office is. But I'm down here because it's hot up there. You know, heat rises and ain't no ventilation upstairs. But so there's 3 floors. There's a whole lot of rooms on each of these floors. Now, if I couldn't take care of that one room and maybe the bathroom, because you know you use the bathroom a lot. If I couldn't maintain those 2 rooms, I wouldn't have been able to have this because I was faithful with, and I had to shift my focus and you know to be faithful through this. So if you're wanting to get more, you got to be faithful with the stuff you got. A lot of us want to be millionaires and we can't even handle the $2,000 that we get. That's wasteful. You know what I mean? So I digress. I went on a tangent. How y'all doing? If y'all with me, say hey. Be in the comment section. You know, let me know what's going on, whether it's Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, whatever. So now we get to the birthing portion of, you know, childbirth, right? And again, the birthing can last anywhere from minutes to hours. I've heard some stories where, you know, the doctor's like, hey, it's time to push, and that baby quite literally just walked out the womb. Pushed 1 or 2 times, and it's like, oh, look, there's a baby. Then you have other mothers' experiences where they're like pushing and pushing for hours, and that baby just ain't moving and ain't budging. It's like you're pushing and pushing and pushing to a point where for some mothers, they have pushed for so long that the doctor's like, all right, this baby ain't moving. Let's transition this vaginal birth to a C-section, you know, because it's just not working, you know. And that brings me to this point, right? Sometimes things that we want don't look the way that we think they should look, right? So we might be moving in a certain direction, and it's like, okay, yeah, but who said that that was a direction during the whole process? Sometimes there's a pivot. Sometimes things shift. Sometimes it's not always going to look the way that we intended it to. But we have to remember, like, all right, I mean, the important thing is that this baby comes out, right? The important thing is that I bring forth this project or this vision or this dream or the call over my life or whatever it is, you know, I have to push and create this thing and bring forth something. You know what I mean? So if I got to pivot about 3, 4, 7 times, I mean, it's going to be uncomfortable. But what mother said that pregnancy was just oh so comfortable and no problems ever? I don't know one. I haven't personally met one. But if there's one out there, hey, congratulations. I love that. You know. So anyway, like I said, when it's time to push, you feel the pressure, right? And pressure is obviously extremely uncomfortable. Like again, those menstrual cramps, especially if you it might be WTMI, but like period cramps are trash. But if you have like endometriosis and all this other complicated things, Child, listen, the smallest of pains become huge, and it's trash and it's horrible and very, very painful. You know what I'm saying? So in this pressure, in this discomfort that a mother is feeling, we feel that on the figurative side as well. You know what I mean? Like we are literally in someone had asked me yesterday, like, when do you know that it's time to do the thing? And I was like, honestly, when you feel nothing but pressure, when you can't ignore the thing, when it's something that is just like it's in you and you're just like, I don't know what this is, but I can't sleep properly, I can't think properly. Like no matter what I'm doing, it always reverts back to this idea, or it always reverts back to this conversation, whether it's about, again, writing a book or putting together a nonprofit or putting together a workshop, a training, um, putting a group together, ministry stuff, whatever it is, you know what I mean? It's like no matter what you do, and no matter how far you try to run, God's like, okay, but this is what you're supposed to be doing. You know, hello, Jonah, right? No matter where Jonah and what he was trying to do, God's like, but I chose you though. Like you, yes, you. I know you don't like it. I know where I'm sending you is not, you know, beautiful fields of roses and bunnies and bubbles. No, I know that, but that's why I'm sending you. And no matter what Jonah tried to do, God's like, all right, listen here. You can try, but it's you. And there has to be a level of acceptance during our birthing process. Like, okay, clearly I'm chosen to do this thing. Why? I don't know. How it's going to happen? I don't know. But obviously, he's like, you can run, but you can't hide, and you're gonna bring this thing forth, right? And so, you know, we can't avoid pain. No mother in the birthing process is going to experience absolutely zero pain and discomfort. But that's because this thing that you're about to birth into this world is so beautiful and so powerful, and quite frankly, a miracle within itself. Like the female body does some miraculous things, you know what I'm saying? I'm not saying the male body don't, but hey, listen. The fact that we can birth and carry a whole human, and for some of the mothers, push a baby out of something that is not even close to the size of what that baby is, which means she might get torn if, you know, there's only so much stretching that can happen down there, you know? So sometimes things get torn and then stitches have to happen and all this other stuff. And it's like the fact that a person can create another person and push this person into the world is a miraculous journey. Okay. So anyway, pressure, when we feel it, it's an indicator it's time to push. Um, you know, and another thing I learned is you're not, for some mothers, you're not going to keep pushing just continuously. Sometimes you got to take a break, and you might not push as hard, or you may not have to do anything at all. It gives you a break, but then also the doctor is able to kind of make some maneuvers, you know what I mean, to make sure, like, all right, so the next time we push, we might get more progress. And I went to this book tour yesterday for Brenda Palmer. She wrote the book The Journey to Yes. And something that she said that rang home with me is like, you know, sometimes when you're doing something for God, you're just like, I'm in it. And sure, let's do this, let's go. But then when everything starts to just kind of happen at once, like your mortgage is behind, your rent is behind, you can't even pay your phone bill. Like there's just so many things that just like aren't linking and connecting. You're just kind of like, hello. Like I'm only in this predicament because you asked me to. I'm only suffering this heavy because of you. And you know, sometimes a lot of the mothers, right, when the dad is in the room and he's trying to comfort her, some of them are like, listen here, boy, this is your fault. Cause hey, you done put the baby inside of me, man. So don't no, I don't want to hear it. You know what I mean? And so sometimes we are literally looking at God, the Father, like, this your fault. And it sounds crazy to say, and I don't think he's offended by it. As long as we don't go too overboard, you know what I'm saying? Remember who we're talking to, but also be honest, like, sir, I'm only this broke because you had said no, or not yet, or you said wait. And it's like, yes. However, question. So how's all this stuff going to get paid? How's all of this stuff going to happen? You asked me to do something that I've never done before. And it's very uncomfortable. It's very difficult to face, to think about, all of the above, And I'm here, and yet everything just seemingly is just going wrong. Everything, you know. You're doubting yourself, you're doubting other things. You are sitting here trying to figure out, like, all right, I done lost so much. So when is this thing gonna get better? I cried, I prayed, I fasted, I consulted, I've been counseled, I've done all of these things. But like, it's still crumbling, you know. And child, let me tell y'all, I've had to learn again that it's like there's things that God is like, yes, I'm aware, but I got you. Do you trust that? I got you. It's like, yeah, of course I trust you. Trusting God means I trust his time, I trust his will, I trust the process that he's going to bring me through. And that's the part where we're just like, all of that. Yeah. Okay. And so oftentimes in the birthing process, you are going to have to rely, like the mother is relying on everybody in that room. Like, hey, doc, I hope you ready, because if this baby comes, you got to catch him. You know what I'm saying? Dad over there, you stay focused and don't faint, because hello, we got to do this together. If your mom is in the room, mom, help me, bring me through this thing. You birthed me into this world. Help me. Like, you're relying on a lot of things in that moment of birthing something into this world, right? And figuratively, you are dependent on God for sure. And he's not doing it to torture us and to be like, I just want you to know that I'm God, and like, you ain't gonna have no other God except for me. But maybe sometimes, but sometimes it's really like, again, it's not just about him. It's not just about our relationship with him. Sometimes it's about our relationship with ourselves. Do we trust that we can actually get through this? Do we trust that no matter how much pain we have experienced, no matter how much discomfort we are in, that we're going to make it to the other side? Shameless plug, I do have a journal called To the Other Side. It is on Amazon. I'm just saying, shameless plug. And it's for those who are trying to figure out how to get to the other side. When like you feel led to get your healing, or to do this new thing, maybe to switch careers or switch the job, or take a step out on faith and be an entrepreneur. Even though that's crazy, but we're here and we're gonna stay faithful. Regardless of what that thing is. It's like there's a lot of transitions that happen. And sometimes I realize in my work that I do in ministry as well, that people don't necessarily only lose it when things are going bad in the valley. People also don't lose it on the way to the mountaintop. Sometimes it's that moment when you have left one thing and you have yet to enter another thing. And then you're just kind of like, oh, hello. I don't know what to do here. Like, it's the gap, right? It's the intersection. It's that moment where you're just like, okay, clearly we left something. Great. Thank you, Lord, because I was tired of being there. But you have yet to enter into the new thing. And then you're just like, what is this? I don't like this. I don't want to do this anymore. This, no, thank you. This, no. Healing hurts, and healing is hard. Okay. I was literally talking to my client about that this afternoon. She was like, dude, the amount of work you got to do in therapy and to get better, the amount of truths you have to sit with, the amount of changes that Now I see why don't nobody want to come to therapy. I was like, facts, facts. You know, we get it. That's why we walk you through the right therapist, and we're gonna walk you through the process because it is hard. You know, and so as you're dependent on God and dependent on yourself and sometimes other people, it's like you have to trust. I'm going to get to the other side. You know, so if you're struggling with transitions or know anyone that is, head over to Amazon and look it up. You could probably type my name in. My name is right there. You can type my name in, and then the books will come up. Anyway, yeah. So in the process of pushing, right? I found something else out, right? When the baby has successfully come out of the womb, and you're just like, oh my god, the baby's finally here. Whew, that was a lot, and sometimes you get so overjoyed that part's over. That part sucked. You know what I'm saying? Like for some mothers, again, this can be anywhere from minutes. Hey, TT, anywhere from minutes to hours, right? And what I realized is I thought when the baby came out, the placenta and all the other things happened at the same time. Not true. I found out that within like 30 minutes later, the placenta has to come out, which creates another contraction, which creates another, even if it's a slight push, it still got to come out, right? And that blew my mind because something I'm learning in, like real time, is that just because we overcame one thing doesn't mean that's it. You know what I'm saying? Like Sunday, I had a good friend. I thank God for this friend. Her aunt was in town, and she had her aunt pray for me. And a lot of people have been praying with me and for me, and trying to encourage me. But it's like that last part where when I say she prayed stuff off of me. You hear me? She through her, God was like, I got to break you from a lot of these things, Jermaine, from these mindsets, from these narratives you have, from the people, from the ideas. Like it had to come off because where I'm about to take you, girl, you got to leave that stuff behind. And since Sunday, I haven't felt this free and happy in months. You hear me? Months. And I'm a happy person. Okay. Jermaine is a happy, go lucky, fun, optimistic, like all the energy, all the feels. I am a whole vibe. But yeah, these past few months, I haven't been the vibe. I haven't been the light that I was supposed to be. I've been doing things because again, God keeps Jermaine moving. But I promise y'all, there were times where I'm just like, I'm not doing this. I'm not going outside because people expect me to show up a certain way. And I can't show up like that. I don't have it. I really don't. And so I was like, I'm not going outside. I'm not going in anybody's face. I'm not going to any event. I'm just not doing it because I don't have it. You know what I'm saying? But there are times where, again, when you're obedient, you say yes, even when you don't want to, And so it's hard to realize that even after all of this pushing and birthing, that there's still something at the end that is just like you're done, but not quite yet. Like let's just finish the process. You know what I mean? And sometimes we stop at, okay, I did a thing and look at that. Oh my God, like yay. And it's like, yeah. But I remember this preacher had said, you're either in 3 stages in life. You're either preparing to go into a storm, you're in the storm, or you have overcome the storm and you're out of it. But then it continues. So like once you're out of something, that doesn't mean you'll never hit a storm again or you'll never go through things, because again, you are growing and moving, and again, They don't call it growing pains for nothing, y'all. It's painful. You know what I'm saying? And so I've I felt all three stages of the birthing period. Like I felt the active labor, I felt the birth, and now as of Sunday, I felt that last push, that last like which is the placenta coming out. And this has been a journey, and this is why I feel like God was like, do it today. Because I promise y'all, I wasn't going to do it. I was like, you know what? Again, I don't have it. Like, I don't know why this man keeps asking me to do things, but I'm like, I ain't got it, sir. Like, hello. Like, you strengthen me every step of the way. You absolutely do. You empower me to do these things. You absolutely do. But I've reached my limit. Mm-hmm. And something that God does, he's like, good, I'm glad you finally reached your limit, because you was trying to hold on to way too much anywho. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes where we stop is where we allow God to move, forgetting that God was moving this whole entire time. And I told y'all this is a really preachy pod. You know what I mean? Like, yes, it's mental health, but here at Fighting Chance, we are holistic in our approach to healing. Okay, that means we're going to talk about the body, we're going to talk about the mind/soul, but we're also going to talk about the spirit. And all three components of you is necessary to complete healing. Okay, again, healing is a journey, it's not a destination. I don't think you'll ever be fully healed of everything, because again, we're always learning, we're always growing, we lose things, we get old, our bodies go through things, people around us go through things, and sometimes it hurts and it affects us. And I tell people all the time, an indicator of you being healed isn't that you never get triggered again, or you never feel anxiety again, or you never feel depressed again. An indicator that you are healing is that you are responding to life very differently. Mm-hmm. Again, another client today, she might still be watching. Today was just like, no, I'm not doing this anymore, because the old me, I could crash out, I could cuss somebody out, I can have fun and self-medicate and ignore the problems and do all the things, But over here trying to do it the healed way, it's so hard and it sucks. And it's like, But what you just told me is I am further along in my healing journey than I thought. Because even in my worst space that I'm in right now, I am responding very differently. And to her, that was scary. And I was like, girl, yeah, because you never done this before. And it's new, And she was just like, oh, well, when you put it like that, I guess it's not as bad as I had considered it to be. I said, girl, let me tell you. And I had a conversation yesterday, and we were talking about like what it means to suffer for Christ's sake, and what it means to have, again, be up here and be like, yo, I'm cool. I've been coasting right here. This space right here, this is really good. And I'm glad, I have a lot of friends, and God sends people to me that I can encourage, but now I have the right people around me that not just take from me, but they pour as well. So it's kind of like an exchange. I've had reciprocated friendships before, but it feel real different right now, because there are people who will reciprocate as long as you're good, but when you have people that can pour into you in your weakest of states, and who don't expect you to pour back into them, that's like, hey, I know you suffer right now, it's cool. I resisted a lot of help from a lot of people in this time of my life, because I'm like, no, like I can't, because I whether it's because of embarrassment, whether it's because of like, I just don't want people to see me at my worst, or I'm supposed to be the happy-go-lucky. Again, I'm a vibe, humbly, of course, I'm a whole vibe, and I'm like, well, I can't be that. So I don't want to be around people. But ooh, man, do I finally have a good tribe around me where they're like, Jermaine, I don't care if you in the mud, I'm there with you. If you broke, well then sis, I got you. If you don't have it, let me find someone who does. You know what I mean? And I've never had that before. Never. I've had my mom, I've had adults that kind of poured, but when you find people in your own age group that are willing to, and even the younger ones, I love working with young people. I really do. And as much of a headache as them people are, this generation different. These Gen Zs, child, listen. And these Gen Xers thought millennials were bad. No. These Gen Zers are built different. They're not built for tough. They're built with like a few missing screws or something. But I still love working with them. And then the Gen Alphas, don't get me started on them alphas. Them babies are rude for the most part. There's always outliers. But I'm just like, why y'all so rude? Like, I know you was raised better than that. Why do you think it's okay in this whole freedom and I feel liberated to express myself? Uh-huh. No, yeah, do that. But be respectful. Like, I don't know how to be respectful. There's this whole like Gen Z stare. And I talked to my client about that. She's in Gen Z. And she's like, no, yeah, because people definitely be saying stupid stuff. Like, you mean to tell me millennials never have to stare? I was like, oh no, millennials have to stare. We just wasn't doing it in front of the adults because we understood. If I but so fix my mouth and it looks like I'm about to say something sideways, something's about to get hit. You know what I'm saying? Depending on your culture, of course. Anyway, I digress. I love working with young people because no matter how difficult and frustrating they are, man, do they love hard. And they are so supportive. And because you're consistent in their life, they realize like, oh, you're here to stay. Whether you're getting paid to be here or whatever, I can see the love and passion into you. And so I'm a give. They make me laugh. They make me feel better about myself. They encourage me. They support me. They're great. That's why I have a lot of mentees. I got a lot of nieces and nephews. I got a lot of god babies, although I barely see them. But that's besides the point. I got a lot of these. I got a lot. You know what I'm saying? I have a tribe. Okay. And I thank God for that because he trusted me with them. And I'm like, again, I didn't think myself to be anybody deserving of any of this. But here we are, and so this birthing process has been a process. Now, I'm not saying the baby's here, I'm not saying the baby's here, but I definitely feel a lot better because I recognize this birthing process and pushing. It is a painful, difficult, hard, sometimes lonely, sometimes confusing space. But at the end, and if you endure to the end, like the Bible says, there is a reward. And the reward, as crazy as it sounds, is going to be a lot. And you're just going to be like, I'm glad I stuck through it. I'm glad I went through this. Again, yesterday at the book tour, Brenda Palmer was like, listen here, y'all, for 2 months. This book, although it was written, she's like, nah, this ain't going to come out because I'm not even going to be here. So like, we're not doing this because pain sucks. And it's like, you reach a point and you're just like, I'm done. This, I don't care what success is supposedly coming up. I'm done. But I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the grace of God. Maybe it's divine will and purpose. I don't know. I just know that when you endure until the end, when you keep pushing past your capacity, and that's something you have to be comfortable with. You have to be comfortable with being stretched. In the birthing process, that spot in the lady is being stretched. Okay? Stretched and pulled beyond its capacity, its normal, regular state. It is being pushed because it has to create room and space for this baby to come out. Yeah. In life, we will be stretched beyond. I have been stretched beyond my capacity. But then my client told me about this thing. She reads a lot and she does a lot of journals. There's this, I don't remember the guy's name, but she said a part of this yoga meditation thing she does, the guy says, all right, I need you to twist your body as far as you can. And so she did it, right? And then after doing some stretches, doing some breathing and whatnot, the guy's like, all right, now do it again. And she was like, yo, I went so much more further. That's crazy. Stretching allows my capacity to be a little bit different than what it was before. And I was like, yo, that's powerful. That's that right there. That's good to me. I like it, and it's just an indicator that, listen here, we will be stretched and pulled and made uncomfortable. Our capacity, what we thought once was our capacity, God's like, I'm increasing it. We all love that prayer of Jabez, Lord, enlarge my territory. He's like, all right, but just so you know, the more the territory, the more responsibility. The more I give you, the more your capacity has to be. And things don't get bigger unless it's stretched. And listen, a lot of this isn't even in my notes, so this is real-time revelations, okay? This is real-time God speaking through us right here in this moment. Because I tell you, man, again, I wasn't going to do this today. I wasn't. But like I say to my clients and like I say to the young people I work with or anybody I encounter really, saying yes to God isn't just a one-time thing. Saying yes to being obedient to the call, the move, the vision, it's not just a one-time thing. Sometimes it is a consistent yes. Yes today, yes tomorrow, yes 3 days from now, yes 3 months from now. It's a yes. Because what's the alternative? To suffer by myself? If I'm going to suffer, I'd rather suffer with a man who knows how and when I'm going to come out of this and know what I need when I come out of this than to just suffer and be like, like how the world is doing life without Jesus. I don't know. Frankly, I don't know. Because life right here, it's ghetto and it's hard. And I'm like, hey, listen here, y'all. Y'all better go find Jesus because he is the only one that can carry us completely through. Anyway, so guys, thanks for coming in. Again, whether you have watched this live or you have watched this on rebroadcast, maybe you just stumbled upon me for whatever reason. Maybe you saw the hashtags and was like, all right, let me come on in, regardless of what it is, thank you for watching. If someone had shared this with you, I hope you got something from it. We thank God for this because I been through some things. I'm just like, I don't want to do this. But again, when you're obedient, I believe that God's gonna bless you big. You know what I'm saying? So I'm here. If you ever need some advice, safe space, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm starting to create some of those safe spaces for young people first and young adults first. And then I'm going to get to the adults, because at the end of the day, no matter how much great work I do with adults, my jam, my bread and butter, my heart, my missions, my life's purpose is teens and young adults. So I'm going to create a safe space for them. And then I'm going to do the same thing for adults. And that's what these sessions are. This Inimitable podcast is not just for the neurospicy. It's not just for the misfits of the world. It's really for those first. But anyone that's just like, yo, I don't have a safe space anywhere else. I don't feel seen. I don't feel heard. I don't feel affirmed. I don't feel validated anywhere else. This is for you. I'm here for you. This is my life's purpose. Again, it's not just for the young people. It's not just for women of color. It's not just for, Black men. It is really for those that are different and feel different, look different, act different. The misfits, it really is for you guys. You know what I mean? But this podcast, although it has a targeted audience, I do believe that anybody and everybody, lottie and everybody can get something from this. So again, thank you for watching. Don't click off, because every episode there is a intro video and there's an outro video. There's announcements on that outro video. So again, thank you for coming. Thank you for watching. I appreciate you guys. Share this with your friends, your family, your church. Hey, share it with whoever you think needs to hear this. All right, guys. So I will see you. Yeah, I will see you next week, and y'all be blessed. Bye. Hey guys, thank you so much for coming back to my channel to watch the Inimitable podcast. This podcast is for those who may feel unseen, unheard, unrecognizable, misunderstood, all of those things, right? So thank you for coming. We're going to do this every other week, okay, for Therapeutic Thursdays at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So, if you set that little bell, click that little bell to subscribe, you will find out what we have going on. I just wanted to create this space so that everyone knows who they are, remembers who they are, discovers a safe space where you can emote, where you can feel, where you can connect, you know what I'm saying, and be in the comment section, because I do, reply back to you when you're in the comment section. So thank you guys for coming, and stay tuned for the flyers that are coming, because I do have a mental health affirmation coloring book out. I also have a journal called To the Other Side. This is for people who are stuck in that in-between season, or the hallway season, like we like to call it. But sometimes those hallway seasons look like a wilderness, if you know what I'm saying. So stay tuned. Everything is on Amazon. Thank you for coming to my YouTube. We got stuff coming on Patreon. So stay tuned. Thanks for coming, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.